Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Professor Henry Wies of Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, your entrepreneurship tutor. Today, I want to pay tribute to the third President of the Republic of Kenya, Mwai Kibaki. Yes, I want to say that President Mwai Kibaki's politics was a concentrated expression of economics. Mwai Kibaki, the economist for Kenya. Yes, way back in 1920, Kenya became a British colony. In that same year, far away in the East, Vladmir Illich Lenin said, "Politics is the most concentrated expression of economics." This can be translated to mean that a good politician is one who embraces economics to plan for development. Kenya's third president, the late Mwai Kibaki, has been described as the finest economist.
Third president, the finest economist we ever had in Kenya, the Honorable Mwai Kibaki.
Yes. Still in the East, there is a saying, the Chinese saying, if you are planning for a year, sow rice. If you are planning for a decade, plant trees. If you are planning for a lifetime, educate people. Yes, it appears to me President Mwai Kibaki embraced all the three, but most importantly, education. Yes, in 2003, just a year in office, free primary education was introduced by President Mwai Kibaki.
January 2003, the Kibaki government's dream of free primary education for all Kenyans was finally actualized, and the rush to reap the fruits from the new regime would see many primary schools across the country overstretched by the unexpected high enrollment of pupils. It was the hallmark for Kenya's education sector. In 2010, 8 years into the program, the number of primary school pupils had risen from 5 million to more than 8 million.
Yes, free primary education and enrollments just grew up. And Kibaki's free primary education attracted the young and the old. Are we seeing multiplier effect? Now, those who directly benefited from the Kibaki regime are forever grateful.
I want to take this opportunity to thank you, our retired president, Mwai Kibaki, for the love, for the passion that you had for us as students in Kenya. As for me, I was back at home for several days without going to school due to lack of school fees. But you came up with this brilliant idea of starting free primary school education. I started my schooling for the first year up to the 8 years being in primary school, and I got a certificate to join a secondary school.
Yes. And for Mwai Kibaki, it was not just primary education, but indeed secondary education too. That was the plan.
Government will provide free secondary education from January 1st, the year 2008.
Yes, perhaps that is why today people who want to impress, politicians who want to look forward, are even saying we want to extend Mwai Kibaki's free education to university education. You can see, just as Kibaki introduced free primary education, OKA shall stretch it further to university. We hope that can take place, but that's not the story today. President Mwai Kibaki had light moments about education, teachers, and teaching.
You are letting this to go down by allowing some teachers to drink too much. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. When we see so many drunkard teachers in so many schools, I am telling you, you are educating our own nation by mistake.
Yes. Now, the economist in Mwai Kibaki, and that was the objective of this tribute, that free primary education generated a multiply effect in Kenya's economy. A multiply effect is a change in a particular input, e.g., the government spending, which causes a larger change in an output, e.g., gross domestic product. Let's listen to this.
When the government spends money, it becomes somebody's income, and they save a portion of that and they spend the rest. That spending becomes somebody else's income, and they save some and spend some. That keeps happening over and over again, and that's called the multiplier effect. An initial change in spending causes a ripple effect through the entire economy and leads to more total spending. The size of that ripple effect depends on how much people spend or save when they get new income.
Yes. Now, official statistics captured some of the development achievements by the President Mwai Kibaki's regime.
Immediately Kibaki took over, the country's economic growth rate rose from 0.6% in 2002 to 3% in 2003, 6% in 2006, and by the time he was seeking a second term in 2007, the growth rate had hit a high of 7%.
Haya tutatimiza, hakuna mambo ambayo hatuwezi kutimiza.
President Mwai Kibaki was confident. But official statistics do not capture everything. And that's where I ask, was Kibaki's politics a concentrated expression of economics? Did the multiplier effect that free primary education created, was it well captured by the official statistics? Look, I was the chairman for Kenya Investment Authority. I worked under the Kibaki regime from 2003 to 2010 until he left power. I can tell you that growth of the construction industry in Kenya, indeed by research of the University of Nairobi and our own statistics, show that in 2003, construction industry grew by 3% and contributed only 1.1 to GDP. 2004, it grew by 3.5%, contributing 2.6. 2005, 7.2 growth rate and contribution 3.8. You can see an upward trajectory. But how exactly? What were the contributory aspects of this economy? A lot of it would not be captured by official statistics. Look at this. Free primary education in 2003. In 2004, 30% increase in enrollment, primary school, up to 8 million. What did that mean? Yes, the building industry, the construction industry that we see growing without knowing the actual exhaustive sources. More classrooms were required. If more classrooms are required, then hardware shops were called to demand hardware shops. Building materials, bricks. These rural bricks that were building rural primary schools would never be captured by official statistics. Sand harvesting and transportation. This is what is never captured by official statistics. Desks, yes. When I was made chairman for Kenya Investment Authority, I changed residence, and I can tell you it was difficult getting a carpenter to come and do my wardrobes, because every carpenter had been engaged in making desks for free primary education. Cement, our cement industry just started booming. And of course, even services, small enterprises, micro enterprises started mushrooming. And in fact, consultants were called upon to do some business planning for like timberyard business and all that. This and a lot more could not be captured by the official statistics. And this is the multiplier effect that grew out of free primary education. Let's look at it again. Now, this was my casual research. This is before free primary education. In front of my business, I could see, young men loitering, sand sellers. They could loiter, sell sand a little bit. Demand was low. Lunch was, not in their vocabulary. Can see sleeping around to waste the lunch hour. Now, after free primary education, the same young men who would just eat what we call airbackers started going to kiosks to eat githeri. Some of them opened groceries for their wives. The question is, why? Asking some of them, they told me, the savings that we had made for paying school fees is now what we can now spend, because primary school fees, education is free. The savings that we had made, we can now divert it. We can now improve our standard of living by eating 3 meals a day. We can also now open kiosks, groceries for our wives. So, multiplier effect. By merely announcing free primary education, the ripple effect, the multiplier effect in the economy was great. But due to our level of gathering data and statistics, that could not be captured. We captured it verbally, oral, but official statistics, Kenya National Bureau of Statistics will not have a lot of this. So, rest in peace, fine economist. You created a multiplier effect in the economy. Indeed, rest in peace, Mwai Kibaki.